Andrew in Philly, how are you?
Hey guys, how's it going?
Good. Thanks for waiting.
Congratulations on the award. I'm so happy for you guys. You deserve it very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.
So for the past couple of weeks, I've been going to a Bible class at a Christian church. They don't know I'm an atheist. I'm like an atheist Jane Goodall.
Awesome.
Observing them, yeah. Well, like a weird thing, like I noticed that they spend a lot of time trying to show that the Bible is inerrant and there's no errors in it. And sometimes I ask questions or I point out contradictions. And when I do that, they tell me, well, no, it's not about the Bible being perfect. It's not about, it not having errors. What this is all about is a personal relationship with Jesus. That's the only thing that matters, that you realize he died on a cross for you and that he saved you. And I tried to point out to them, well, that story, that whole entire concept comes from the Bible. So it seems that they want to have the Bible be literally true, but then they preach that it's not about religion. It's about a personal relationship with Jesus. But is there really a difference between a personal relationship with Jesus and a religion?
Yes-ish.
Yeah.
I mean, for example, let's assume for a second that the Christian hypothesis is actually correct, and that what they're saying is correct, that the important thing is that you have a personal relationship with Jesus. Now, I can't prove that there is no God of that particular religion until they define it in such a way that we can address it. But maybe there is some Jesus, and maybe, for example, my mom has some personal relationship with Jesus, but that's irrelevant to everybody else outside of there. Revelation is necessarily first person. We get that from Hume, etc. But it doesn't have any bearing on me. I cannot distinguish between her personal relationship with Jesus in a real sense versus her delusion of having a personal relationship. The reason I answered yes is that those things are separate from both the religion and the Bible, even though that would be where they would be derived from. Basically what you're dealing with are people who are offering incredibly dishonest responses. They want to claim that the Bible is God's word, and therefore, to the extent possible, it is inerrant and perfect, and it is our, the guiding light that leads us to the truth. And when challenged on those issues, that's when they're going to say, well, it's not so much about the Bible as it is this. It's a complete redirect. It's like somebody asks you if you believe in God, and you say, I don't know what I believe. Or I don't know for sure that there's not a God, actually, would be the better redirect. Right. Somebody says, hey, do you believe in God? Well, that's a yes-no question. And it is yes-no. Because we're not asking how strong is your belief or how strong is your disbelief. It's just, do you believe? You either believe or you don't. And if their response is, well, I don't know that there isn't a God. Okay, that's great. I'm sure that's an answer to some question, but it's not an answer to the question I asked. And that's kind of like the sort of response that you could do, but it seems that they've already admitted. It's like they're doing a two-step. It's, the Bible's not true, but it's about this. And I got no better information for you. I wish I had a better response to that. But it's like saying, we need a better response. We need a better way to talk to schizophrenics. I mean, when you're dealing with someone who isn't going to, or isn't capable because of, I'm not saying these people are crazy or stupid or anything like that, but their religion in particular, the ideas that they have bought into, have constructed a brain that is incapable of dealing with these subjects honestly and actually seeing the flaw. And you can try to point it out, and you can say some of the things that I've talked about. Some of them will finally get it. I mean, I was a fundamentalist for 25 plus years, and eventually I got it. And if I could figure out exactly how I got it, I'd change the world. All I know is that it was a process, and one of the key things was that I actually came to care whether or not my beliefs were true instead of whether or not they were comforting or whether or not they were popular, whether or not I was with the in crowd of people who were constantly reinforcing those beliefs.
Okay, well, thanks a lot, guys.
Sure.
Have a great day. Bye.
Sure. Did you have anything you wanted to add on that?
No, not really. I guess just that I think this is another example of how religion, particularly Christianity, has to evolve in order to survive. Because, if you've got people in there who are doing the same thing, that Andrew was doing, which is, even theists challenging, hey, how come this contradicts this other thing over here? And what about this genocide thing? And when you've got people asking hard questions, if you're going to sit there and say, well, this is actually a good representation of God's character, you're probably going to lose a lot of people on that.
Yeah, my big problem with the honesty of it.
Yeah, it's completely dishonest.
It's like if you were talking about anything else, for example, if you were offering up your evidence for evolution, or you were teaching somebody evolution, which that would be more accurate with the type of sermon and Bible study type thing. So you're teaching somebody about evolution, and you say that this and this and this and this and this happened. And if somebody comes up and were to say, "Aha, but do you have evidence for this right here?" No scientist, no teacher is going to say, well, that one might be a little bit wrong. It's really about this.
Right.
It's just not the way any kind of rational discussion goes about any subject. It's religion is the end-all, be-all exception to rational discourse.
Yeah.